Hey guys, welcome to the first ever indie movie spotlight here on the Fronsman Productions YouTube channel. I want to kick off this series by talking about a 2019 film that was shot right here in Ohio that's beginning to pick up some huge traction on Netflix. It's called I See You. I See You was written by Devin Gray and directed by Adam Randall. The story follows Detective Greg Harper, played by John Tenney, as he must both investigate the case of a missing child while also dealing with his broken home. Meanwhile, Greg's son Connor, played by Judah Lewis, is at odds with his mother Jackie, played by Helen Hunt, due to her cheating on Greg. As the story progresses, a lot of strange occurrences start happening within the home, like the TV turning itself on. At one point, the family's guinea pig gets loose and Greg ends up chasing it into a closet before the door gets slammed on him, pictures disappearing, and a lot of this at the beginning really starts to point towards something paranormal, and it kind of has you leading in that direction a little bit. Meanwhile, Greg and the rest of the police discover a green pocket knife at the scene where the child had disappeared at the beginning of the movie, which was the calling card for this notorious pedophile and serial killer that the police know for sure they have locked up in prison. Or do they? However, while the cops begin to keep searching for this copycat killer, some violent things begin happening in the Harper's house. At one point, Jackie's former fling shows up, trying to rekindle their affair that they had just picked back up. She's having no part of it. She's trying to stay faithful to her husband now and repair everything. Well, out of nowhere, a mug comes crashing down on that guy's head, and she ends up having to take him down in the basement to try to bandage him up. Now, she ends up blaming Connor for this, but then out of nowhere, when she's gone looking for bandages, gonna take him to the hospital and everything else, guy comes out of nowhere and boom, whacks the guy. So this is where things really start to take a turn. So if you want to avoid any major spoilers, I recommend that you go ahead and stop watching, go watch I See You, come back later and finish the video. Okay, well, the movie ultimately reveals that two people, Alec Travers and Mindy, have actually snuck into the Harper's home and have been responsible for a lot of the events that happened throughout the movie. And now we kind of see all these events play over again, only this time it's from their perspective. Okay, so while Mindy says the point of what they're doing, called frogging, is to remain undetected and be able to live in the home and coexist with the family without them knowing, Alec wants to play a game. He wants to start messing with the family to try to test their sanity, make them think they're going a little crazy. So ultimately, Alec's creepy shenanigans explain a lot of the craziness of what we've seen earlier on throughout the movie. However, when we get back to the part where Jackie's lover gets bashed in the head, we find out that no, of course it wasn't Connor, that poor kid. He gets blamed for everything in this movie and he didn't do a damn thing, right? Well, it wasn't him, and it wasn't Alec either. No, it was actually Greg who bashed him in the head. And then as more gets revealed and the movie gets even more intense, we ultimately discover that Greg was the creep who's been abducting the lost children, and Alec was actually one of the victims from many years ago who got away. Okay, so I went into this movie completely blind, okay? It came on my radar because I wanted to watch some Ohio-made independent films. And I'm really glad that I went in without having an inkling of what was going on, because part of the beauty and what really works about I See You is just the subversion of expectations. Just when you think you start to know what's happening, boom, it's something else. And then you start to think, well, okay, wait, oh, that was a good twist. I see what's happening now. Well, psych, no you don't, because then the movie reveals that it's something else all along. Now, a lot of movies try this technique. You always see the movie trying to do the twist, and sometimes it just feels forced. I don't think that's the case in I See You. I think the twists feel very natural, and when something is revealed, such as finding out that Greg is the one that bashes Jackie's lover in the head, it ends up making sense, and the movie explains it, and you feel like you're solving this mystery, and you become so absorbed within this dark mystery, you're just putting each puzzle piece together, and when you get another piece, you really start to appreciate everything that came before, and realize, oh wow, that makes so much sense now. On top of that, all of the actors did an absolutely stellar job in their roles, and I found myself completely invested in all of the main characters from start to finish. Not only that, but the cinematography was brilliant. A lot of really great drone shots. Some of the location shots from inside the house at the beginning, along with the lighting and the sound design, it just really foreshadows that you're going to have this dark and foreboding atmosphere. And I think it really does a great job maintaining that throughout the duration of the film, to where you're constantly glued to the screen. I don't think there was a moment watching this movie where I wasn't wholly invested in what was happening with these characters and wanting to find out what's going to happen next. And better yet, like I said, this film was shot right here in Ohio in Chagrin Falls, and Cleveland-based makeup artist Alan Tusks, he was part of the makeup team for this film, so huge shout out to Alan. I know he's been on a lot of big projects in the past, and it's always great to see him working on some of these independent films right here in Ohio. So great work there. I See You is an absolutely phenomenal, stellar thriller that I think everybody needs to see, but especially independent filmmakers. And here's why. The suspense and pacing and the way that the stories all line up together and give the audience little nuggets to put together the story and involve them as you watch, it's just a testament to great writing. So if you are an independent filmmaker and you want to learn some good ways on how you can tell a story from multiple characters' perspectives, but still have it all come together to tell a cohesive plot that also has a lot of audience payoff for the little suspense that you put in throughout the rest of the film, you are not going to have a better lesson than by watching I See You. But what do you think about I See You? As always, I want to know what your thoughts are down in the comments, and if you like this video, please be sure to let me know by dropping a like, and also subscribe and turn notifications on so you can see more indie filmmaking content. And also, if you are an independent filmmaker, I want to talk about your movies on the Indie Movie Spotlight as well. So let me know down in the comments, drop the name of your film, where I can stream it, and I'd love to talk about your movie in a future video. All right, well, until then, that's a wrap.